I'm Aubrey Harrison. I am a senior instructional designer within our Center for Teaching and Learning at UNC Charlotte. And so what I wanted to do today is talk a little bit about we have a transcript portal. And I want to use this as an opportunity to talk about how that has evolved into something bigger and some of the steps that we have taken, as well as some of the steps that we are taking. So I've already kind of introduced myself. Just to kind of give you a little bit of background about myself. Before I came to UNC Charlotte, I worked in K-12, mostly in central office work, doing a lot of support with instructional technology, application development, building processes for our district and our schools, developing applications. And so a lot of that experience fed into my involvement with this. So to kind of give you a little bit of background, I've only been at the university for a little over 2 years. About a month and a half in, I got an email saying, we don't really have a system for our faculty to see the training and workshops that they have completed for our department. We would like to have something where we can provide our faculty with data, information that they can see and have access to as quickly and as easily accessible as possible. So that was kind of my hello moment into this new position. So I started trying to figure out how to do that. In addition to that, we were also switching our registration platforms. The system that was previously being used when I came in was now going away. So we were transitioning into a new platform. So that basically meant for me is, one, I had to learn this new platform. And two, I have to get a sense of what the data from the other platform looks like and how that's going to work with the data from this new platform. So that presented a little bit of a challenge, but it was something that we could figure out. And then it was just making sure that we had a system, not just a one-time thing, but something that's going to have to be ongoing, because we're not going to stop doing workshops and professional developments. Once you make this, it's going to keep going. Data is going to keep being fed into this. So we need a system, we need a process in place so that we can collect this, make it accessible, make it available to faculty. Now, I know there are systems out there that can facilitate this, but we were just trying to be cost effective about it. So they just asked me, you do it, is essentially what happened. So when I went about this, I was like, okay, let's just break this up into 2 phases, and then we will kind of go from here and see how this grows about. So the first phase was building a faculty professional development attendance portal so that our faculty could go to one place and they could all see their information. And it's authenticated. It's specific to them, but everybody can go to one place. I don't have to give everybody a separate URL or a separate location to go see their stuff. I can say, everybody, all of you go here and you will see your stuff. They will see their stuff. She will see her stuff, and so on and so forth. And then from there, once we had that established and in place, we were going to leverage that to build a transcript portal. So basically a place where faculty can request a transcript of everything that they've done with our group and be able to use that and show all the work they've done, all the learning that they've taken. So I'm going to kind of walk through these 2 phases with you to kind of show what we did. So this first phase with this PD portal, we this was set up to be our place where we kept all of our professional development records. So essentially what I did was, like I said before, I meshed the data together from the old system and matched it with what the new system was going to be. And I made sure all that stuff was consistent. A whole lot of effort went into just making sure the data was consistent, the data would work and be available to faculty. And so, and not only that, it was also setting up some sort of automated processes because I don't want to. If anybody who knows me, my supervisor will tell you if it can be automated, I want to figure out how to do it. I not want to have to sit here and manually do things. Now there are parts of this that are manual, but I will say one of the things I'm proud of is that every semester I find out how to eliminate at least one manual thing. So it's slowly progressing to something where it's getting closer and closer to being fully automated, so I don't have to touch this all the time. But once I got the data together, then I needed to have a system or process that can authenticate all that information for our faculty. So what I ended up using was Looker Studio. You all familiar with Looker? Okay, so Looker Studio is a place where you can provide a data source. In this case, I provided it with a Google Sheet. But it could be a CSV files. It connects to different systems. It could be if you need to use Monday, like we use Monday, it connects to Monday, so you can pull data from there. It connects to a variety of different data sources. But what I can do is I can take my Google Sheet, put it in Looker, and Looker can then say, because Looker does connect with Google, and we are a Google campus, and Looker can say, oh, okay, I can find everybody that matches this person, and I can authenticate it because we talked with Google, and this is a Gmail account. Now we can make sure that that person only sees their thing. So I'm going to show you what it looks like here in a second. So we use Looker to manage our authentication as well as our access. So now we have a place where everybody can see their own stuff, and I can put one link on a website, and everybody can access it without any problems. So, like I said, we had to do a lot of data migration as a part of this. I won't go into the details of it unless you want me to get questions about it. But I started a process for how to manage this going forward. So when we have workshops, when we have events, anything that we want to track, anything that somebody that says, I want this on my transcript for an event that we hosted, you have a system in place so that it can go in there and we have a process and a level of consistency in terms of timing that allows us to do that. I am by no means a programmer. So when I talk about Google Apps Script, please don't think that I'm fluent in this. I know enough to be slightly dangerous. But in my previous position, when I was working in K-12, I had a little bit more involvement of writing and scripting things before. In this position, I do a little, but not a ton. But it came in handy here where I could write things to say to automate processes for me. So I didn't have to go in and go out doing things. So I leveraged the Google Apps Script to write something that would allow me to take any spreadsheet from one folder and put it into my mother spreadsheet. The spreadsheet that my main data source that I use to feed that Looker I was telling you about before. I can press a button and all the data from all my other spreadsheets can go into that one, and now my dashboard is updated. So what that did for us, did a couple of things. Well, for faculty, now they have access to their records. So now when we got there and we were getting emails and phone calls like, hey, do you have any records of when I attended this workshop on this day or when you had that event and I went or I completed that self-paced course? Can you send me the evidence of that? They can go on their own and get that now. We don't have to answer those questions, and they have access to it. And then we also were able to make a web page. We call our CTL transcript request page, and think I have it up right here. It's just a very simple page where everybody can click that button there. And once they click that button, all of their data from the workshops that we have done with them will display. So we were able to do that as a part of this process. And then what it did for that's how it helped out, but like I said before, it reduced time for us, and it gave us access to workshop data as well. So not only do we not have to answer questions, but now we can get a chance to look at, okay, now that we have all this in one place, we can build reports. We can look at what are the workshops that people really seem to be interested in? What are the modalities that people really seem to be drawn to? And then we can customize our future offerings to what the data is telling us. So to give you a sense of what this would look like, so this is an example of what our, and I'll try to, what our portal looks like. So this is what the Looker Studio is. So it's fairly basic. So you have a place for filters up here where they can they want to filter things down. If they want to search for a particular event they know that they went to, they can search for it and make sure that it's on the list here. Or if they want to filter this to show these are all the events that I went to this past year or that I went to last spring, they can go to and modify the state range, and it will filter this table down here to show that. And then down here below the table is the list of all of the events that are there. The event date and time. We developed a system. Again, one of those things that each year by year we figured out a way to automate this. We automated a system to create course numbers for each of our unique courses. And then we have the event name as well as the hours there. So when I click this button to go down here, this is what appears for me. And anybody else in our university, when they click on it, it would just show their stuff. So that's the nice part about us being a Google campus and look at that connection with Looker. So that was our phase one. So now our phase two was now being able to generate that transcript request. So now when faculty want a paper copy of it, they want this evidence so that they can present that to whomever they need to show that to show their growth. We had an option for that. So we built this transcript request option. I don't know if you probably saw it on the previous screen there right next to the filter. This kind of came in phase two. So right below their total credit hour, we have a transcript request option. So they can click that button, it goes to a Google form, they fill it out, submit, process over. And now it can go to them. I will tell you the process right now is when they fill out that form, I get a notification saying, hey, so-and-so wants their transcript. I review it first and then I send it. It can completely be automated, but the only reason why I don't automate it is because I still get a lot of students who go here thinking it's their transcript. And so about half of the requests I get are from students who think that's what it is. So I like to review it first. And what I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to edit the form to make it more clear that this is not that. This is not where you get your actual transcript. It's something else. And then I'll set it up to be automated. The other thing is, the other piece of it that I did was we had an admin portal, but it wasn't presented in a way that was really helpful to those who might need it. So we refined our admin portal to show all of the data in different forms. One of my colleagues that I work with really did a great job of refining how this looked. The data was all there. Now we just need to make the data visualization piece of it more presentable. So we did the redesign for the admin portal. We established that automated product process for the transcript request. And we set up, I set up separate spreadsheets for each of these things, basically to speed the process up. I originally was running it all off one, and it worked. It just wasn't working as fast as I would like for it to. So we just, I separated things on separate spreadsheets, and now it's running pretty quickly. So to give you a sense of what it looks like, this is our admin portal, and it has different bits of data in here. I won't show you the whole thing, but I'll show you little pieces of it. So I'll just go up to our attendance distribution. So I can go here for our admin portal. This admin portal is just for our, just for specific members within our CTL. But they can see information about all of our workshops, how many people have gone to our workshops, how many have registered by their role. All of our workshops are tagged. Like we'll have a workshop that might be tagged as Canvas. Another one might be tagged as active learning. Another one might be tagged as generative AI, things like that. Those are our streams. So we can go here and take a look at that data. We can filter things down even further if we needed to. So if I wanted to see all of our data by a specific date range, I can do that. So if I wanted to see things by a certain date range for a specific department, because that happens frequently, is people will ask, hey, how is my department doing in this area last spring? I can, with a few clicks, do that right here and have all that information there. I can also see information. We have an attendee snapshot. I can see attendance information for any attendant or anybody who has registered for our event. So if I wanted to, I don't want to put anybody's business on the street, so I'm not going to click on it. But if I did, what you would end up seeing is all the information for faculty members, where I could select somebody, and that would show basically all this information for that person. So we had a meeting with our help desk team, who was looking for just more information about how they can help people who come in with their tickets. And they were they were asking about, like, we don't know what they already know or what they've done or what's available to them. Well, we gave them access to this portal so they can see that information and have a good sense already of, oh, this person hasn't taken anything. They don't know anything about generative AI. Maybe we remind them, we do have workshops on prompt engineering. We do have workshops on using generative AI for writing or studying. So we have different departments who are starting to leverage this as well. But again, this admin portal also made a looker. This is all being connected. It's all connected basically to the same data. But this is also just made a looker, and we use this to check our workshops, our attendance for our events, and things of that nature. And that's a picture of that. And I didn't mean to put on it. So once we got to that point, we kind of started asking ourselves questions about this portal. So we have this transcript portal, we have this admin portal. They're nice, that's great. But we really wanted to dig a little bit deeper with it and look at what is this providing versus what could it provide, and what's the gap in between, and how do we close that gap? How do we go from we're giving this, but we could give that? How do we close that gap? So that was some of the conversations that we had, and that kind of led us into phase 3. So this was where we were, and phase 3 is basically where we are. And phase 3 is where we're now using our portal to include our course development time as well as some of our certificates. So I've heard multiple times throughout this time here. I heard someone say that if there's no data, it didn't happen, right? Or I heard someone say at the very beginning that they talked about the work that goes on that's hidden that we don't talk about. And we recognized we had those same exact thoughts and made the decision, why is it hidden? Why does it have to be hidden? Does it have to be hidden? What happened if we made it visible? And so that's when we went into including our course development for this. So we started really thinking about all of the invisible, all the hidden work, all of the invisible work that we do, everything that's in our calendar somewhere or on an agenda, we started adding it into our portal. And so all the custom workshops, all of the design meetings that we were having, the large group team meetings, we started including all of those things into our portal. And we were using that to start to tell the story of the impact that our team, our CTL, is having on the departments that we serve. So we piloted this with our engineering department, and we started putting everything. We had a project that we were working with them on for about a year. We put everything that we were doing with them into that. And at the end of the project, we had a little celebration because the project was mostly complete. What we ended up doing is we printed out their transcript for them just for this project, not for everything, just for this project, to show them that we've documented all the time and effort that we put into this. This is everything that you've learned. These are all the meetings that we attended. This is the effort that you put into to make this project work. And we gave them their transcript, and they really loved it. And what turned from that is other departments had similar requests for projects, and they were asking questions like, okay, I know you guys did this with that department. What did that take? How much time and effort went into that? Glad you asked. Here's a transcript of what the faculty did. And now they already know right away, oh, so it was this is my meetings, some of these custom workshops. Oh, okay, well, good. Now I know. I think we can make that work. And so it's something that has begun to foster relationships with other departments, because now we can present to them, hey, look, this is what we've done. This is what we're willing to do. This is the success that we have. We can all show it to you right here, documented on paper. So we also included as a part of this our certificate tracking. So we have some certificates. We have 2 right now. We're working on a 3rd. And that wasn't really included as a part of our process either. So we started adding the certificate data in there as well. So we can get more information when someone asks, well, how many people completed a certificate this year? How many people completed a certificate last year from that department? All that information is now in there. And so, that's hard to see. But what that basically has done for all of us, for the faculty, for the CTL, as well as the departments that we were serving, it documented everything. Everybody could see all the work and all the effort that went into this. We were able to provide faculty members, like I said, the transcript of all the effort they did. And then for our CTL department, we now have a framework for other departments to use when they want to say, okay, how do we document our work? Well, here's what we've done. Here's a process for it. If you want to, you can just fill this out, and it can just slide right into what we already have. So that the faculty isn't going there for your data and here for ours. We can just merge it all together just by you putting your information in this one place. So we were able to establish a framework that others could mimic and use and combine with ours. So those were just a few of the basic things for that. And then kind of to finish up, again, where we were, where we are. As last month, Phase four, which we're kind of working out the details on, is where we're headed, like where we think we're going to do next. Like once phase three done, what's next? Because where we are is there, we have to go to the next thing. So the next thing is, okay, we have this for us, we have this for faculty, now we have this for departments. Who else could we support with this? Well, how about leadership? How can we tell the story about what we're doing for students? Every year we have to give this report on student impact data. It's really hard for us to quantify what that looks like. But one starting point that we do have is this portal. As we can leverage that. So we can figure out for our department and our leadership, how can we take our portal, and if we can set it up so that faculty can click on it and they see their stuff, can we set it up so that a dean can click on it and they see everybody within that they work with, everybody within their college? Can we devise that? The answer is yes. There's efforts to it. We still have to figure out how, like, what happens when things change quickly. But the point is, it is possible. Also looking at potential student impact. How can we start connecting student data to this? So one of the small things that we're thinking about doing, and it's not accurate totally, but it can show potential student impact, is we have the ability to pull Canvas enrollment data. And then we can connect that Canvas enrollment data to all the faculty members that attend our workshop, and then connect it that way so it can show this is some potential impact that we're having. We know that of this workshop, we have these 20 faculty members, touch these number of students. This is kind of a starting point for a potential impact that we're having on students. And then, as always, we're looking at improving the efficiency. I told you before that when we were including our course development and the data, we were pulling from our calendars and things like that. We now, at least have a process on how to automate that process. So you don't have to pull anything from the calendar. We can just pull it for you. Now that requires some coordination. It requires us to have some consistency with how we name things in our calendar. So that when we go about doing it, it'll go by faster. But we can go about automating that process so we can collect that course development time and tell a little bit more about the story that we're doing with faculty. But that is basically it. That's our portal. That's how we're doing it. We're using it to kind of develop our relationship with faculty, and it's going well. It's improving. We're growing with it, but it's still a work in progress.